Hello there and welcome back to another edition of the Hot Lap Classic Remastered. This time we're taking a look at the 1995 Tom's T020. Tom's take on the SW20 MR2, often regarded as everyone's favourite. For me, I've spoken before, I prefer the 3rd gen MR2, and then probably the 1st and then the SW20. But it's still an iconic car, and in terms of tuning potential and outright speed, it is obviously the quickest of the MR2 group. This Tom's T020, I don't know a lot about it. I do know I really like the sort of tail light grate that it's got going on the back, and I also like the snorkel that just sort of sticks out, the little airbox. I think that's a really nice touch to this vehicle. SW20's not been quick around here, it does have to be said. They're sort of languishing a little bit, so we'll have to see how the T020 gets along. Mid-engined, rear-wheel drive, 367 horsepower, 1,122 kilos. Pretty sort of standard stats in terms of this series. Anyways, this Tom's T020 is going to have 6 laps of the Motorsports Land track in order to set the best time it possibly can. That says barrel on the back, I think. Although obviously it's sort of popping in and out, which is great. Our current leader is the Audi TT LM Edition that casts at a time of 26.690. The Tom's T020 is not beating that. In terms of where this is going to go, well, as I mentioned, these sort of lower powered SW20s, the naturally aspirated ones especially, have not been quick. The turbo cars, the GTS, I think that's at a time of like a 30.5, which is reasonably competitive. But the 2 naturally aspirated cars we've had, the GT Limited and the MR Spider, are both very much languishing actually underneath the 31 second mark. They are very low 32 second cars, so this has beaten that, so that's good. Admittedly, those cars have more akin to about 300 horsepower, whereas this obviously is considerably more at 367. But it still doesn't feel that quick. I'm getting a lot of, you know, standard mid-engined complaints from this. You know, it doesn't handle particularly nice. There definitely needs to be some more weight over that front end in order to get it to turn in a bit nicer than it is doing. It's also not the most controllable thing in the world, especially through here. You can sort of see it's really being bothered by the lumps and bumps on that corner cut, which is definitely hurting its time, because that does lead on to a bit of a straight. In terms of straight line speed, it doesn't actually feel all that compromised. Naturally aspirated cars, especially high revving ones like this, sometimes can around here, but this doesn't feel too bad. 31.460. That's pretty much the same time that Yaris set last time out. Ooh. That actually could have been a pretty good run up, but that was me cocking that one up. I mean, the one advantage this does have is it does look very cool, and I'm sure, I mean, 31.460 for sort of some early game cars, this one isn't bad. I think this is a very early unlock. I think this is mid-engine championship, I think, gives you this. So it's a very, very early unlock, but yeah, I think mid-engine challenge actually gives you both of the pre-tuned SW20s. Final lap for this car then. Hopefully it can do pretty well. Send Tom's out in a bang as well, because this is our final Tom's car. Yes. The Chaser is a TRD, which we've still got a couple of those to go, but this is the final ever Tom's to go around the track. 31.245. Considering what this car is, and considering there was a lot of struggles in getting that around the course, that ain't bad, actually, from the Tom's T020. I'm going to say all of that time was made up by the snorkel that this car has. The snorkel funneling air into the engine just made it explode on that final lap. But no, I mean, it's just sort of normal mid-engine. The tyres really clip through the fenders. That's going to be a big problem for getting a thumbnail. I'll probably have to take it from that angle. Times are really all over. There is some time in this, then. There really is some time in this. But yeah, I don't know. It just does not. We have this conversation every time I drive a mid-engine car, but they're just not good to drive. Like, that's sort of the bottom line of it, and it can affect them like that. So yeah, not great. But again, considering the other sort of naturally aspirated cars are like not even touching 31 seconds, I'd say that's a pretty good run out for the T020. Anyways, don't do that. A 31.245 is going to place this in to 283rd place. It ties with the Nissan Primera 2-litre TE, and as we've discussed before, when a car sets a time, it is the car that set the time first that gets to have priority in the leaderboard. It is fractionally quicker than the Mercedes-Benz A160, which is not doing what I just said any justice. Quicker than the Prelude, Sylvia Q's, sorry. It is quicker than naturally aspirated Supra and the old GT Turbo Limited, so that is actually pretty good. It's quicker than quite a number of sort of decent cars there. It's even quicker than the Tom Supra, and that has like double the power that this does, although that's the reason it's slower. It is a very crowded sector of the leaderboard here. In terms of like cars that sort of compare to this, Acura NSX 31.2, that car suffered from a really dodgy gearbox, but I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's pretty, for a mid-engine car on this course, especially these sort of mid-range ones, that's pretty good, because they're not quick, so yeah, decent for the T020. Anyways, that's it for this episode. Thank you all very much for watching. Join me next time when I'm going to be driving something very similar to this. Until then, farewell.